Yes, good afternoon, all of you. I hope my voice is audible. I am audible to everyone and screen is visible. If someone is not able to hear me clearly, just let me know. Okay. So I'm hoping that everyone is able to hear me. Right. So let us continue from where we left in the last session. So as per your syllabus, I will try, as I told you that we will try to go according to your syllabus only. Yeah. So what we will do, as if you people remember, in the last session we have discussed some of the basic things related to data science, right? Now from here, what are we going to do is we are going to talk about some other basic things like life cycle of data science. So here I will try to give you a basic idea about which type of activities are done. Suppose if you want to work on some data science project, suppose if you want to go and if you want to develop some prediction model, classification model. What is prediction model? What is classification model? Don't worry about that right now. Okay. So what we will do is we will try to understand what is the data science life cycle. What happens? What type of steps are being carried out in data science, right? And then again, challenges of data science is kind of theoretical point. We will try to discuss, and we will try to discuss about these two things, R and Python for data science. So there are some points I want you people to be clear with. I will be asking you some questions here, and according to everyone, I will move with R as well as I will be moving with Python. If you people remember, I already told you I will try to make all the sessions as hands-on as possible. That's why everyone should be present on time, right? Because if you miss something, then what happens is actually it's really difficult to understand the contents of the next session. So it should not happen. You should be there on time, everyone. I know that you people are you people also might be having different sessions to attend. I can understand. That's why I always wait for at least 5 minutes and then only I start. Okay. So here we will try to start with this data science life cycle, and then we will try to talk about R and Python. So I'll be talking about both. As I told you, I'll be comparing R and Python. I'll be showing you hands-on examples. If someone is aware about that, that's good. If someone is not aware about that, that's also good. No problem at all. Okay. So let's try to talk about the first point, and that is nothing but data science lifecycle. So I hope whatever we have discussed in the last session, so we talked about what is data science, right? We have seen what is data science in the last session, and I told you in a nutshell, data science is nothing but making sense of data or understanding data. That is what data science is all about. Okay. And then next point we talked about is what do you understand by machine learning. So I told you, if you people remember, I told you that machine learning is nothing but collection of statistical tools. And what are those statistical tools? I have already discussed that. Even we have discussed about something called as deep learning. So in that case, I told you that deep learning is something uh, which talks about making use of something called as neural nets or neural networks or artificial neural network, right? So and deep learning is a part of machine learning, right? And last but not the least, we have discussed something called as artificial intelligence. So in that case, I told you artificial intelligence is nothing but the bigger umbrella, right? Artificial intelligence is the thing which is going to have everything under that. So maybe in some cases you will see data science is a part of AI, machine learning, deep learning, right? So we have seen that particular Venn diagram which talks about artificial intelligence, deep learning, machine learning, and data science. So it was something like this. This is where AI actually exists, and this is where machine learning is. Inside machine learning, there is deep learning. And for data science, I told you that it is something like this, which is having, so this is data science. So which is intersecting AI, ML, and deep learning, right? And I also discussed about many people will say that data science is absolutely similar to AI. That is not absolutely incorrect. That's also correct. I am not saying that it is incorrect, but yes, to be more precise, I will prefer data science like this because of the domains. Because of the domains, we have already discussed that. These are the points which we have discussed in the last session. Now, as I told you, I am going to start this particular point: data science lifecycle. So for this, we will try to go through different steps. We will try to see uh, which kind of steps are actually applied, which kind of activities can be done under data science lifecycle. So for that, what I'll be doing is before discussing about this data science lifecycle, before discussing about this one, I just want to ask you: are you people aware about something called as Jupyter? Just let me know, right? Because otherwise, I will tell you what is this, right? So if someone is not aware about Jupyter, please let me know, because that is what we are going to make use of in these sessions for hands-on, and whatever the notes I will be giving you to you people, right? So I will be giving you in Jupyter notebook only, most of that, right? So I will be giving you IQ and so many people I can see they are saying that they are aware about Jupyter. Someone is saying that it's an IDE for Python. Actually, it's not IDE, it's a notebook. What is IDE? That we'll talk about later on. For example, IDE is nothing but Integrated Development Environment. So PyCharm is IDE. VS Code is IDE. This is not IDE, but yes, I can see everyone saying that. See, people are asking me, can we use PyCharm? Sharon is asking, can we use PyCharm if you want to? Sharon, whatever the code I'll be showing you people, you can run that code in any tool you want, whether it's a PyCharm, whether it's a Jupyter, whether it's a Colab, whatever you want to make use of, whether it's a Spider, you can make use of. For this subject, to explain you all these topics and to show you some applications and projects, I'll be using Jupyter and PyCharm. I'll be using these two tools. Let me make the point clear itself, because I can see many people are already aware about all these things, all these Jupyter and Python. I think they are aware of. So that's good. So it will save our time. So see, let me tell you, for this subject, I'll be using these two tools, Jupyter and Python. Obviously, we are going to make use of R and R Studio. Right. Don't worry about this one now, because I'm going to start with this. Right. So what happens is, see, I can see none of you has said that they are not aware about Jupyter. Okay, I will again repeat. Those people who have just joined, I already asked you people that whether you people are aware about Jupyter or not. So I haven't seen any single person saying that they are not aware about Jupyter. So I am expecting that everyone is aware about Jupyter. At least you know this Jupyter. Right. So what happens is there is something called as Anaconda. So Anaconda is a distribution. See people, those who joined late, I'm just trying to tell you what type of tools I'm going to make use of for this subject. I'm going to make use of Anaconda. Anaconda is a distribution. What do you understand by distribution? Distribution is something where you have everything at one place. For example, in my case, if I show you, see this is Anaconda. As you people are already aware about Jupyter, that means you know what is Anaconda, right? But I'm just on my part, I'm just trying to make it clear that everyone should be aware about. So see, in case of Anaconda, if you look here, you are able to see everything at one place. So you can use Jupyter Lab, you can use Jupyter Notebook. This is what I was talking about. This is what we are going to make use of. Even you can make use of other tools like Spider, right? And there are other notebooks also available which you can make use of. There is something called as R Studio. You can make use of. This is what we are going to make use of for R and VS Code. Either some people are aware about VS Code, some people are aware about PyCharm. Tool is not a issue, right? I already said whatever the code I am going to share with you people, that code is going to run on everyone, on every tool, whether it's a VS Code, PyCharm, Google Colab. Google Colab is something like you don't have to install, you can use internet and you can run your code. So that's also okay, right? So I will again repeat, I will be making use of Anaconda's Jupyter Notebook, okay, and PyCharm IDE. PyCharm is called as IDE, IDE, Integrated Development Environment. And this is the thing which we generally make use of whenever we want to create projects or modules, right? But yes, this is also very, very useful. Jupyter is really very helpful for documentation. Jupyter is very, very helpful for data pre-processing. All those things we will try to see one by one. Okay, so I hope everyone is aware about this one. Okay, now suppose maybe what I will do, I will try to show you a simple program first, how to run a program in Jupyter. I hope that you people are aware about basics of Python. So if I show you something like, you just tell me whether you people know these things or not. Otherwise, I will just go and give a introduction to all those basic things. Suppose if I go here, let me show you some topics. Let me show you some topics and let me ask you whether you people are aware about those topics or not. Okay, and just let me know if anyone is not aware about that. Just let me know about that. Okay, here. Just a minute, let me just open that Python basics. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you list of some topics. Are you aware about that or not? Just let me confirm. Okay, and all of you check. I can see 73 people have joined the session. Generally, I think there are more than 90 people. So maybe other people may join the coming sessions. Okay, so see, what I want you people is, I want to ask you whether you people are aware about all these topics about Python or not. What are the different data types available in Python? Numbers, string, printing, lists, dictionaries, booleans, tuples, sets, comparison operators, if, elif, or else statements, for loops, while loops, range, list comprehension, functions, lambda expressions, map and filter, and methods. So, are you people aware about these points? Just let me know. If someone is not aware, if a single person is not aware about all these points, just let me know. Because see, these are the things which I am going to make you know. Sharon is saying that it would be good if you just revise this for us. Till range, I know after that it's new. Okay, RN boss is saying that, Sharon is saying revise. What about others? What about other people? Can you just let me know? Are you people aware about all these points or not? Okay, Sakit is saying no. Vibor is saying not every point, sir. Then okay, Anil is saying yes, RN. Okay. No, we know most of this except map and filter and lambda expressions. So again, Monisha Kohli is saying that you are aware about most of these things already except lambda expressions. Okay. Okay, I got some responses. So some of them they are saying no, but I did not get that much of response from list compression onwards. No idea. Okay, I mean it's saying that for list compression onwards, no idea. Okay. So I think you people are aware about these, right? Because they are the same thing which we use in other languages. Many of you are saying that they are not aware about this topic, so I will try to cover that. I will try to cover this one. Functions also you might be aware about, but I will show you some examples. And I will, so what I will do, I will try to cover some of these points which you are not aware of. Right? I hope many of you are aware about these things. That's why I'm asking you. If you are not, just let me. Okay, so don't worry. For those who are saying that they are not aware about these points, I will cover that with examples. I will show you execution. Okay, Sharan is saying that can you cover dictionaries and tuples also? See, why I'm asking you, because what happens is if someone knows this, then they will feel that okay, I'm teaching the same thing which they already know. It should not happen, right? That's why I'm asking you. But if you people are saying that, if you people are asking me to cover these points, I can cover that, no problem. Okay, no worries. I will at least give you a brief idea about all these things. At least one to three examples we will try to see. No problem. So, but just make a point that we are going to need all these things. Why am I telling this? Because if you go and if you try to check your syllabus, in your syllabus you'll be able to find out something called as exploratory data analysis and visualization. So to understand this, we will see some examples, hands-on examples, because that is the only best way to understand all these topics. That's what I believe. Hands-on is the best thing to learn all these things. Right? Just learning theory is not going to make any sense. That's what my purpose is. That's why I'm asking you whether you are aware about these topics or not. Plus, I want to ask you one more thing. Are you people aware about these packages? NumPy, Pandas? If someone is not aware about, just let me know as no. Okay? Matplotlib and C1. At least these four packages. Have you used these four packages? Have you learned these four packages in any subject before? Okay. Almost everyone is saying that yes, they are aware of it. Okay, then that's good. What I can do in that case is I can go and I can directly. Okay, RN boss is saying that they have even used those packages in projects. So if you have worked in projects, that means that's good. It is going to save my time. So I hope that you people are aware about these four packages. There are other packages also, a lot of them. You might be knowing like Coupling, right? Uh, TYTTSX3, Kinter package you might have used, a lot of them. But I want you to be aware about these 4 packages because as per your syllabus, they have mentioned one topic that is called as exploratory data analysis. That's what I want to show you. So I hope from the response, whatever I got from you people, I hope that everyone is aware about these things: NumPy, Pandas, Matplotlib, and Seaborn. Okay, Manas is saying that know about the packages but not too familiar with it, not about Seaborn and Matplotlib. Saket is saying that he is not aware about Seaborn and Matplotlib. Okay, so for these packages, what I will do then, maybe as many of you are aware about this, I will directly go and I will directly ask you some questions, and let's see whether you people will be able to answer those questions or not. If not, then I will just explain it to you. Okay, we want to know about Sivan or Beta. Rahul is saying. So don't worry, Rahul. I will cover that then. Okay. Same thing. I will just give you an overview about these packages. I will directly move to the questions, and let's see whether you people are able to answer that. So actually, what happens is, let me tell you, this NumPy package is actually used to convert any data into array. Right. Now the basic thing is why to convert anything into array. If it is a list, you can convert list into array. If it's a dictionary, you can convert dictionary into array. Whatever, if it is tuple set, you can easily convert that into array. Now why to convert anything into array? Because the basic thing is that arrays are faster as compared to all these data structures. That is one thing. And there are other advantages. Because okay, can anyone tell me what do you understand by vector? What is vector? It's a very basic thing. Can anyone tell me what is vector? Do you know what is vector? Have you heard this word before? Those people who are saying that they are aware about NumPy. Ordered list. Okay. Sharon is saying that vector is an ordered list. Any other definition, people, about vector? Because if you are aware about vector, then only you will be in a position to talk about matrix. So what's a vector and what's a matrix? Array is nothing but, you might be knowing, right? Array is a collection of elements. Okay, so Shivam is saying that n by 1 matrix. What is n by 1 matrix? Shivam, are you saying that this is n by 1 matrix? One column. Okay, I mean Araf is saying that one column. So actually, vector is nothing but, okay, I got one more answer. Tuple. No, Mark, it's not a tuple. It's not a tuple. So vector is nothing but one dimensional array. That's it. 1D array. And this matrix is nothing but two dimensional array. That's simple definition of vector and matrix. Array is nothing but what? Array is a collection of elements. So one dimensional array is a vector and two dimensional array is a matrix. Okay. And before talking about the important concept, either in Python or in R, which is called as data frame. Before talking about this, everyone should be aware about what is vector, what is matrix, and what is array. Why to convert everything into array? Because accessing arrays is faster. And what happens is many of the packages in Python kind of a language are actually based on C, C++. And C, C++ and Python, if you compare, so C, C++ are faster as compared to Python. This language is faster as compared to Python. But Python has a lot of advantages, a lot of ready-made packages, and those packages are actually built in C or C++. So this C, C++ kind of a language is called as multi-thread language, and this Python language is single-thread language. You know what do you understand by thread? Thread is nothing but a lightweight process. It means what? It means suppose if you have a quad-core processor available, okay, and if you are using Python kind of a language, so what happens is Python is going to make use of only one core out of that, but C, C++ kind of a language is going to make use of the complete power available. You need to explicitly mention in case of Python that okay, it's a quad core, you make use of everything. But in case of C, C++, by default it is going to make use of everything, and that's why it is faster. But the thing is that many packages in Python language are actually built on top of C, C++. But one cannot go and one cannot write down the code, the complete code in data science or exploratory data analysis in C or C++. because if you write down the code in C++, it will be very huge number of lines of code as compared to Python, and that's why we prefer Python. We will talk about that actually. So yes, the point is that vector is a one dimensional array and matrix is a two-dimensional array. So what I will do, from the response, whatever I got from you people, what I will do is I will start with these basics. I will try to introduce you each and every time in short, okay? And then yeah, I'm going to talk about these things in detail, and then we will try to talk about some packages. Okay? So that is one thing. For example, if I am talking about packages, now let me show you a very simple command. All of you understand this import, as you are aware about all the packages. I hope you know import command. So what we do, suppose let me show a very simple example. You can understand the power of Python. See, import pyttss3. This is the package actually to convert text to speech. Okay, so import is the command just to import the package, run it. Okay. So pytt, it is sx3. Let me run it once again. Now see, I just clicked on run and that package is imported. I want to show you why am I trying to talk about this particular example here is because this is the command to import the package. I want to show you where Python can be used. Why are we talking about Python kind of a language? Right. So this particular package is actually used to convert text to speech. So I just want to show you, you talk about any domain, Python has that package. You talk about anything, any domain, it may be mechanical, can be computer, you talk about any healthcare domain, you talk about anything. Python has the package. So see, if I go and if I try to talk about this package, pyttssx3. So pyttssx3 dot init. Init is nothing but initialization. So what happens is, as I imported pyttssx3 package, that's why I'm able to use all the methods which are present in this package. See, I just, what I have done, I type pyttssx3 and then dot and then press tab button. And now I'm able to see all the methods. Out of that, I'm going to make use of init method, which is going to initialize this particular package and it is going to create an object called as engine. So this is a simple command just to initialize pyttssx3. Okay. After that, what I will do is engine is the variable which is created. I'm going to say engine not say. Suppose if I write down some message here, something like this. Hello all. This is Yogesh Gurumkar and we are learning data science. Something like this I have written. Okay. Now what I will do, I will just run one command engine dot. I will call a method called as run method. I'm just pressing tab button and it is auto completing. So I'm calling this method. See, this is a 4 lines of code. I just want to tell you what is the difference between Python kind of a language and other languages like C, C++. Even though C, C++ are faster, but what happens? See, what this code is going to do is it is going to convert this particular thing. It is just going to read it. Just let me show you here. If I run this code, you will hear that you will hear someone reading this one. Maybe in male or female voice. Even you can go and you can change the voice. See.
Hello all, this is Yogesh Rubber and we are learning data science.
Right? So I hope everyone is able to hear that. I will go and I will once again run it.
Hello all, this is Yogesh Rubber and we are learning data science.
So see, it is actually reading this particular thing and the voice by default is female voice. Even I can go and I can change that voice. You have all the methods available for doing that in Python. Right? Here I have given only one line. You can go and you can give a complete PDF book. That's also possible. Right? And see, if I run it, just hear it once again.
Hello all, this is Yogesh Rubber and we are learning data science.
Now, if you carefully observe the speed with which it is running, that speed is very high, right? And that is called as rate. So what we can do is we can actually decrease that rate. Suppose I want it to read very slowly. So yes, that's also possible. So we can even adjust the rate. So there is called as engine.get property. Suppose if I want to go and if I want to show you that, that also can be shown. So I can make use of engine.get property and the property is called as rate. And suppose if I want to show you, just let me check. engine dot something called as get property. So get property is a method available in PYT test, and that's why I'm able to make it up. So which property I want to get here? Rate. Okay. So what it is going to do? It is going to adjust the rate. Suppose I want to see at by default at which rate it is going to read. So what I can do is print that rate. I can go and I can print that particular rate. Print is a function just to print the value of the rate. So if I go here and if I try to type engine dot set property. Now I will go and I can set the rate. So suppose if I go here and I will set the rate as maybe suppose 125. I do not know what is the default rate. We will see that and accordingly we will set. Let me check whether it works or not. Okay. So it is saying that rate is not defined. So I think it should be okay. This is in single quote and this rate I will have to actually write it down. So we will have to create a variable. So rate is equal to engine dot get property. So this is what I did not create. That's why it showed me the error that name rate is not defined. Let me try it once again.
Hello all, this is Yogesh Murungar and we are learning data science.
Now see, the default rate is 200 and what I set the rate now 125. Right? Just try to observe. That means you can control everything. Even you can have instead of the voice which you are able to hear, instead of this voice, if you want your voice, right, instead of this, that's also possible. That is also possible in Python, right? So this is a very simple example just to show you the power of Python language, right? And that's why I told you that even we have language like C, C++. Why we go with Python kind of a language? So because packages, the packages which are available, the methods which are available, right, or the functions which are available. So what happens because of all these things? Number of lines of code is really reduced. And this Python kind of a language is really easy to understand because see, if I go and if I try to write out the code for this in C, C++, number of lines of code is going to increase. Right? I am not saying that C, C++ is not a good language. Absolutely it is. Everything is actually based on that only. Even I told you that many packages in Python actually based on C, C++. But what happens? It makes our work very easy. So that's what we will try to understand. Right? Later on, I will try to, as I said, I'm going to compare these two also. But actually, one cannot compare this. Right? Whatever. But yes, it is for sure that if you are aware about this, you can easily learn about this, and vice versa. Because many concepts in both of them they are same. For example, concept of data frame is there in R as well as in Python. Concept of list is there in R as well as in Python, right? So whenever I start the sessions in different universities, I actually start with the basic thing only, and then gradually I move to the advanced things, right? And that's why I just try to confirm that whether you people are aware about all these things or not. I hope at least you people have a basic idea about all these things. If not, even if not, as I told you, I will be starting with these basic things and step by step we will try to talk about this one and then the packages. This is how I am going to approach. So maybe we will require one or two extra sessions, but no problem. Okay. So let me first of all talk about data science lifecycle. So for that, as I told you, I am going to make use of Jupyter Notebook. So Jupyter Notebook is really good to create the notes, right? So here actually, what I generally do is whenever I want to create my notes, I actually use Jupyter Notebook only. Whether it's a hands-on, whether it's my what you can say handwritten notes, even you can add images also in Jupyter Notebook, right? And it's really very easy. So you can see, for example, one algorithm is there, it's called a linear regression, which is a data science algorithm actually. Maybe we will try to see that later on. But see, for linear regression, these are my notes. No, you just try to understand how useful Jupyter Notebook is. That's why first of all I asked you people that whether you people are aware about the Jupyter Notebook or not, right? So even see, I can go and I can add all the mathematics and formulas and all the images. Even this kind of image also I can add in Jupyter Notebook, right? So you can see here, this is really very useful. You can see these are my handwritten notes. You can see all the handwritten notes added here. So all these things are possible. It is just that you need to try it out, right? And you can understand how to do all these things. This is all about linear regression. That's not our part. Our part to discuss. We want to discuss actually the life cycle of data science because in theory we have this one. Okay. I will also have to be very careful that we should not waste our time in other things which are not from your syllabus. So I'm bound to the syllabus also. I need to complete that one. Right. So let me talk about this one, data science life cycle. Now, the first and the foremost thing which you are going to require for data science, machine learning, deep learning, AI, whatever it is, you are going to require data. Right? In the last session, we talked about that. So without data, nothing is possible. And that's why the start is with what? The start of the data science life cycle. So this particular diagram is showing you data science life cycle. I'll be sharing these notes, don't worry. So data science life cycle. So the start is with what? The start is with a data selection, or I can call this particular step as a data ingestion, right? Or I can, or you will hear many people calling it as data fetching. There are different names, but the purpose is same. So data selection, data ingestion, or data fetching, one and the same. Because without data, nothing is possible, right? Now, once the data is fetched, now while fetching the data, if you people remember, I told you there are different sources of data, right? The data might be coming from CSV file, the data might be coming from Excel file, right? Or the data might be coming from some TXT file. It might be coming from some HTML website, right? It might be coming from some database, right? There are different databases, like it can be coming from MySQL kind of a database, or Oracle kind of a database, or MongoDB kind of a database. There are a lot of databases available, right? And the data might be live data, so via streaming data might be coming. So we have seen different options, right? You might have heard about something called as Hadoop. That can be a source of a database. Hadoop is based IP, Kafka. These are some of the examples from which data can be fetched, right? So it all depends on the customer, which type of storage they are actually making use of. So on server there can be a database, and that database can be a source for fetching the data, right? And that's why the first step is what? The first step is data fetching or data selection. Now, once the data is fetched, the next thing is data description, right? Now, what happens in this data description? So, data description is nothing but understanding each and every feature from the data, right? Features, whenever I say feature, always understand feature is nothing but, in simple words, if you take a tabular data, feature is nothing but column, right? Feature is also called as attribute. So whether it is a feature or attribute or a column is one and the same thing, right? So data description is nothing but what? Data description, it means try to understand the data, because if even unless and until if you do not have a knowledge about data, we cannot go and we cannot create a model based on the data, right? We will not be aware about what is the input and what is the output, and what type of output is actually expected and what we should do to get the required output. Unless and until we do not understand each and every feature, we will not be in a position to go for creation of the model. And that's why data understanding is very important. And this data description actually helps us to understand the data. For example, as earlier I was talking about basic Python, and I told you that there is something called as data frame. So what we generally do is, suppose if I talk about Python, so what we generally do is we try to create a data frame, right? And in the data frame, we store the data from the source, right? We try to store the data in something called as data frame. And what we do is, now if data frame is a data structure available in Python, what we do after that is we use something called as df.describe. So describe is actually the method available in Python. Describe is the basic method available in Python. Now what describe shows you? Describe actually describes the complete data set. It means what? It means it is going to tell you how many number of features are there. That means how many number of columns are there. Right? It is going to tell you how many number of observations are there. Observation means what? How many number of rows are there, right? It is going to tell you what is the data type of each and every column, whether it's a numeric, whether it's a float, whether it's a character, categorical, continuous data, or what. Right? It is going to also tell you what how much storage is actually taken by that particular data. So all these kind of details you are going to get from the data frame name.describe command, and which is nothing but data description. So it's a story of what data is all about and the features present in the data. So I said features is nothing but what? Features is nothing but the columns, right? Always try to understand columns, or we call it as attributes, right? So in simple words, once the data is fetched, the next step is to describe the data, just to understand each and everything about the data, just to understand all the features of that data. Okay, next step is, once you fetch the data, once you have seen all the features of data, and once you have understood those features, and once you found out that okay, this is the target and these are the input columns, right? After that, we go and we perform something called as statistical and graphical data analysis. Now this is where we are going to need those packages. If I talk about Python, we are going to need the packages like NumPy, right? We are going to need the package like pandas. We are going to need matplotlib, right? If you people are not aware about this, don't worry. Those people who joined late, I already asked you people that whether you are aware about this or not. Some of them they said yes, some of them they said no. I'll be covering this at least in a brief. Okay, and then there is something called as Seaborn. These are the packages which are going to help us to achieve or to perform statistical as well as graphical analysis. Now, what happens in case of statistical analysis? You might be aware about mean. Can anyone tell me what do you understand by mean? What is mean? What is another word for mean? Can you just reply me? What is mean? Average. I mean, that is right. Yes, Monisha, that's absolutely right. Mean is nothing but average. Okay. But can you people tell me what is the limitation for mean? Yes, Salome, that is right. What is the limitation for mean? Mean is one statistic. Okay. What can be the limitation for mean? Can anyone tell me? When one cannot make use of mean, I got answer. Should not be negative. No, sure. It is not like that. It can be negative, it can be positive. That means you can have negative values as well as positive values. Are you people getting my question? I am asking you what is the limitation for me? Or I can ask you the question in another way also. It's feasible sometimes for large, isn't feasible sometimes for large data sets. Okay, Manas, that's what somewhat right. Whatever you are saying, that is somewhat right. But in which condition it is not feasible? What is that? Can you just tell me in which condition mean where there are more number of values? No, that's not a problem. That's not a problem. Even if there are more number of values, we can use unstructured data. Okay, yeah, Salome, unstructured data you can say, but in case of unstructured data, we are not going to find out the mean. We are not going to find out the mean in case of unstructured data. That is for sure. So yeah, I am getting the answers. When the number of values is unknown, not applicable. Okay. So when the number of value is not applicable or unknown, that is missing value, in that case you cannot even find out yes, extreme values. That's correct. Sharon, that's correct. For extreme values, using mean will not be feasible. For extreme values or for outlier values, we can say. Now, what is that? I will give you a very simple example to understand. Okay. So what happens? Let me just a minute. See, what do you understand by extreme values or outliers is, um, just a minute, let me just take a screenshot. This is what your college has told me. I need to take screenshots also. Now see, whatever Sharon has said, that's absolutely right. There is a limitation for me, and that is what you cannot make use of mean, or you can make use of mean, but it will not give you correct average, which will be useful if the values are extreme. Right. For example, what is the meaning of that? Suppose there are some employees who are working in my company. The salary of the first employee is 15,000. Second employee is 40,000. Third employee salary is 30,000. Fifth employee salary is suppose 80,000. Sixth employee salary is 75,000, and so on. 60,000, 55,000, right? 25,000. and so on. And there is one employee in my company whose name is Bill Gates, and his salary is somewhat like this, maybe more than that. Okay. Now, if I ask you to find out the average of all these things, what will happen? This very large value is going to affect the average drastically. That is because of so this is nothing but extreme value as compared to all these things. That means in this case, average is not going to give me a correct idea about that data. Why? Because this is the extreme value. So in this case, if you go and if you try to make use of a statistic called as mean, which will not be feasible. And that's why there is something which is called as median. So can you people tell me what is median? Or if I ask you a question, if there are values like 4, 5, 2, 8, and 3, what will be the median in this case? Can you people answer? Okay, Soumya is saying that 2. Sakil is saying 2. Vibor is saying 2. Let me check. Okay. So see, what we do in case of median, I am asking you median, try to understand. Is it 2? Any other answer other than that? 4. Amin is saying 4. Let me check. Amin is saying 4. Okay. Shiravan is saying 5. Let me see. I am getting different answers. So see, what is the first step to find out the mean? The first step is to arrange them in ascending or descending order. So 2, 3, 4, 5, and 8. I arrange them in ascending order. So always remember, median means middle value. That's it. So what is the middle value? 4. So those people who said 4, their answer is correct. The median for this is 4. What we do, I just arrange them in ascending or descending order, and whatever the middle value you are going to get, that is going to be the median. So in that case, what you could have done is, you could have went with median instead of average, because there was the extreme value. And that's why there is another statistic, and that is called as median. Okay, so yes, Monisha is right, Amin is right. That is nothing but 4. Now, if I go and if I ask you the same question, 4, 5, 2, 8, maybe 9, and 3. Now, can you people tell me what will be the median in this case? What will be the median in this case? 4, 5, 2, 8, 9, 3. I hope it's visible to everyone. Right. Okay, I'm getting some answers. 4.5. Amin is saying, Somi is saying 4.5. Okay, I think you got the correct answer. 4 and 5, Monisha, that's not possible. Median will be only one value. Okay. See, in this case, in earlier case, you were able to tell me the median very easily because it was odd number of numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Odd number of numbers. That's why you got the middle value very easily. But in this case, it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Even number of numbers are there. In this case, what we will do is again 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, and 9. Some of you, I think you have absolutely given the correct answer. Now see, what happens is, in this case, you need to find out the average of two middle values. So what is the average of these two? 4 plus 5 is 9. 9 divided by 2 is 4.5. So those people who said 4.5, they are correct. The median in this case is going to be 4.5. Always remember, this is how we can find out the median. I hope everyone is able to understand that. If someone is having any doubt, always ask questions. Okay, even if it's really very easy, no problem. So Amin is right, Somni is right, Mahak is right. All of you are right. Those who said 4.5. Okay, so that is what mean. That's what median. Now there is something called as mode also. Can anyone tell me what is mode? This is also one statistic, basic statistic, which we are going to mean. What is mode? Can you people tell me? Most frequent. Absolutely right. Amin is right. Most frequent right. So always remember, mode kind of a statistic always used for categorical data. See, suppose we have a column called as gender. Okay. Now the first person is female, second person is male, third person is male, fourth person is female, fifth person is female, sixth person is female. Now you cannot find out the average of this kind of column, right? And that's where we make use of mode. Mode is nothing but what? As I mean said, most frequent value. That means the value which is repeated most number of times, it is going to be the mode. So which value is repeated? most number of times in this case. So you can check the value which is repeated most number of times is, so 1, 2, 3, 4. So F value is repeated most number of times. So the mode for gender column is going to be F. Mode is nothing but most repeated value. Always remember, okay? So that's what. Okay, sorry guys, I lost the connection in between. I just connected to another network. Just a minute, let me share the screen. Am I audible, all of you? Just let me know yes or no. Is my screen visible? Just confirm that and I will continue. Okay, thank you. Yeah. So I hope I am audible. So sorry for that, I just lost the connection. So just now what we talked about is, we talked about the basic stat terms which we are going to read, and that is nothing but, we have seen what is mean, what is median, and what is mode. I hope everyone is clear about this and what is the difference between them and when to make it of text. Okay. So once that is done, let's try to continue our discussion with data science life cycle. So once statistics, so these are some of the statistics I have given an example. Okay, these are very basic statistics which we have done. After that, so for this we are going to make use of NumPy kind of a package, and for this Matplotlib and Seaborn for graphical data analysis. Once that is done, we go and we try to do something called as data transformation and derivation of new attributes specifically. It means what happens most of the times is, whenever we work on some data, there are some columns which are of not any use. So what we do in that case is, we just go and we just try to drop those columns. Suppose this column is having every value as 0, 0, 0, 0, or every value as null value or missing value, right? So we just drop that column, and that is nothing but data transfer. Sometimes what happens is, by combining two columns, we try to create one column, or we try to add one new column if it is needed. That is also data transformation. So if there is a need to add column, drop column, all those things we do here, right? In this stage, derivation of new attributes is nothing but what? Adding a new column or attribute, right? So if that is needed, so the operations like you might have heard about, if you people are aware about databases, you might be aware about DDL, DML, right? Data definition language, data manipulation language, data control language, transaction control language. All these things you might be aware of, or data query language. So you might be aware about create, alter, drop, truncate, rename. These are the segments under DDL. DML is like insert, update, delete, merge. Data control language is like grant and revoke. Transaction control language is commit and rollback. And DQL is nothing but what? Select statement. I hope you may be aware about this. If you have worked with some databases, maybe in mini projects or your projects or your syllabus. Okay. So adding and removing the columns will be done here. Okay. After that, selection of machine learning algorithm. So as I talk about, so see, in your syllabus they have mentioned very few algorithms. Actually there are 17 to 18 machine learning algorithms generally I talk about. But if you go and if you try to see in your syllabus, they have mentioned few of them, because maybe they might be having some restrictions while designing the syllabus. So they have mentioned the algorithms like support vector machine, which you can see here, right? In your, or PCA, principal component analysis, they have mentioned, and they have mentioned other algorithms like yeah, support vector machine is there, and this one KNN algorithm is there, association rule mining or prior algorithm is there. So say 5 6 algorithms I can see, but generally there are 17 18 algorithms which are there, right? But we will try to keep our discussion also based on those algorithms. Okay. So what happens is, this is the step where we need to choose the best algorithm which is required for your data. Actually, what we do, we try to make the 6 to 7 algorithms at a time, and whatever is the best for the current data, we try to make use of that algorithm, right? And then we apply something called as on the data we also apply EDA. EDA actually stands for exploratory data analysis, right? So for this, I am going to give some use cases which you would have to actually go and uh, just run it. I will be giving you the code for this. I will be giving you different use cases related to banking, use cases related to sports, and so on. And they have actually mentioned a separate topic for this particular separate topic. They have actually mentioned it in your syllabus. If you go and if you try to look at here, so somewhere here, see exploratory data analysis. So they have actually mentioned it as separate topic in this syllabus. We will cover that. So something called as exploratory data analysis actually applies in this step. Okay, and then once that is done, we try to check whether the data is standardized and normalized or not. So standardization and normalization itself is a separate concept. So what happens is the data which can be distributed in this manner. The distribution of the data, if it looks like this in a bell-shaped curve, that type of data is called as normalized data. And what do you understand by standardization? That means each and every column should have an equal weightage. For example, in the first column, the values are in the range of 0.01, like 0.03, 0.05, 0.07. The second column is having the values like 1000, 2000, 5000, 10,000. Now see the difference between these two columns, right? So it should not happen that this column will be having a higher weightage and this column will be having lower weightage. So what standardization does is standardization is something like which brings all the columns to the same scale. So it actually scales down the data so that each and every column should be having equal weightage. For example, it is just like go on taking the square root of both the columns. Whatever the values which are present in both these columns, just go on taking the square root of all the columns unless and until the difference between them is very very negligible. That is the thing. But so we make use of something called as standard scaler. In Python, we make use of something called as standard scaler for doing that. Again, we'll talk about normalization separately. Actually, I will be talking about all those things and what is normalization. So normalization actually means what? Mean, mode, and median. Whenever they point to same point, that is called as normalization. And there is something called as standard normal distribution also. Don't worry about this point right now. We will talk about them later on. Why we try to take care or worry about all these things is because the basic requirement for any data science algorithm or machine learning algorithm is that first is that the data should be numeric. Complete data should be numeric. Second one is that the data should be normally distributed. Right? Normalization should be there. And third one is that the data should be standardized. These are the basic requirements for any machine learning algorithm. And that's why before applying any algorithm, we just try to make sure that our data actually follows all these things. Okay. So I'll be discussing this separately. Don't worry about that. Once that is done, we divide our data into training and testing. How? I will talk about that. Then actual model training starts. And then we calculate the accuracy of the model. So how much our model has actually learned. 80%, 90%, 100%. And if the accuracy is less, we apply something called as hyperparameter tuning. Hyperparameter tuning is going to take care to improve the accuracy if it is not good. And then finally, we go and we save the model. So I will be showing you each and every step with practical hands-on. So that's why you will get a very clear idea about all those things, right? So whatever the steps I am going to, I'm just showing you. I'll be repeating these steps maybe next time also, and I will just try to correlate all these steps to the hands-on example, right? So how to save the model? So generally, machine learning models generally save as .pickle or .sav. Okay. So how to do that? That we will see. So we actually make use of a package called as pickle, and then we go and we deploy a model to the cloud. So whenever we talk about cloud, I generally teach all these clouds. Amazon Web Services, Heroku Cloud, some of you might be knowing about. Then Microsoft's Azure Cloud is there, and then there is Google Cloud Platform (GCP), and there is something called as Cloud Foundry or Pivotal. Generally, I talk about these five clouds. I'll be showing you deployment of our model onto this Heroku Cloud, and you people will also be able to do that. Okay, and once the model, because again, maybe in the next session I will talk about this in detail. Okay, unless and until your model is not on cloud, other people will not be able to make use of that, right? That's why it should be deployed onto cloud. And then production deployment. Once it is deployed, once it is used in real time, right? So testing should be done in real time. And if there is any retraining approach actually depends on the domain, right? Some models you need to retrain after every month. Some models need to retrain after every day. For example, share market, where the prices change very frequently. Okay? And then logging and monitoring and getting the dashboard for the models for logging and reports. Right? So this is a complete data science life cycle. Any data science project you talk about, that data science project is going to have more or less same steps it is going to have. As I said, I'll be showing you the hands-on examples. Once we see proper example of a project, in that case you will understand each and every step, right? So even if you are not aware about some of these things, don't worry right now. As I said, I'll be covering from the basics, right? So we will try to go according to syllabus and we will try to understand each and everything, right? Yeah. So if anyone is having any question, you can just ask me in the chat box, and I hope, yeah, I think we are already done with the time. So just send your seat numbers fast, and then we will stop. Those who are present, just send your seat numbers, roll numbers in the chat box, and those who have sent it, you can drop off. Here I am going to stop, and we will continue in the next session, maybe on Tuesday. Yes, people, just send it. I will wait for 2 3 minutes. Yeah, yeah. Those who have sent it, you can drop. I am not going to discuss anything further. I hope most of you done. Those who are remaining, just send it. Yes, anyone remaining? Yes, 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 yes. Those who sent it, drop off, no problem. Done? All of you done? I can still see 18 people. Those who are done, drop off. Yes, I can see 12, 13 people still there. Okay, I hope everyone is done. Now I'm going to stop. So, bye all.